I was contemplating suicide for at least a good 20 minutes.
No, I chose gambling.
We only want losing customers, that's it.
Do you know just about 2% of people who spend $1 billion daily on betting in Nigeria claim to have won bets according to polls conducted by NOI polls? And yet, there was someone stuck in the fang of sport betting. It has ruined lives.
Samuel Adigoke met his Waterloo as an addicted gambler who once used his school fee to pay online betting and lost several times.
Demoralized a society.
One of my friends first carry am come say, see this thing, no could you play am?
I dance all do no him can play soccer betting for man play.
As I go there, we time like hours, they chop everything from my hand. I no fit enter house that day safe now, around like 12 I enter house, I call the cry say money loss.
Gambling is a play.
The time I win, which I'm used to feed my family.
And it's not only within the poor who are hoping to get a helping hand out of poverty, but across all economic existence, including the rich. So, why do they keep playing? And what can be done to reduce the spread of this virus? It is important we explore how we got to be a gambling society, as it highlights some approaches like avoidance and restrictions as potential solutions. The evolution of my awareness of sports betting started in Ibadan. That's a city in southwest Nigeria. These were the days when internet was still in research labs. There was this shop somewhat isolated from a cluster of other retail shops that sold groceries and fast-moving consumer goods for the area. You can think of it as our local version of a shopping mall. In hindsight, the isolation was symbolic, as it was an untold rule in the community at the time that you have no business going there. It was for irresponsible people that can't amount to nothing of value. And you can be sure if you loiter suspiciously in the proximity of the shop, your parents will be waiting for you at the door when you get back home. It's apparent the parents understood addiction science. So it was a case of don't around it so you won't find out if you will get hooked or not. A wise advice, if you ask me. I eventually found out what it was that they do in this isolated shop. It was football pool. Remember, this was era when there was no internet, so the bets were placed weeks ahead of the game. Football pool companies would distribute monocolored paper slips through local kiosks or door-to-door sellers. These slips listed upcoming football games, primarily from the English Football League, and bettors will mark their predictions for wins, draws, or losses. Following the match week, the company tallies the results, calculates the prize pools from the collective stakes, and after keeping a cut for themselves, winners who had correctly predicted the match outcomes as per the pool rules were announced in newspapers or on the radio. News of winners will often spread in the community, so there was no hiding place for bettors. If you did it in secret, just pray you don't win, otherwise, everyone will know you have joined NFA. Some may show a step up in lifestyle for a bit of time, but they eventually go back to square one, if not worse. Then came the internet, and accessibility to sport betting in Nigeria started growing exponentially in the early 2000s. As the internet began weaving its web across the nation and connecting Nigerians to the rest of the world, it brought with it discretion, unlike the existing football pool process where secrecy is non-existent. According to polls conducted by NOI, approximately 7 in 10 Nigerians now follow football leagues across the world. Fused with internet, evolution of payment systems, and an opportunity to get rich quick, Nigerians became exposed to online sports betting. From the crude gambling processes of football pool to modern online sport betting, the gambling industry in Nigeria alone has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. With Nigeria's gambling daily spend rising to a staggering $1 billion, truth is, in some way, gambling has brought some benefits to society. It provides some form of entertainment, provision of jobs, tax revenue for the government, and believe it or not, family income for gamblers.
At the time I win, which I'm used to feed my family.
However, darkness looms over this industry. We see gamblers all the time clutching onto the belief that the next big win is just around the corner. Take Mr. John Doe, for instance. He lives a couple of blocks away and won big ones. Sounds like a dream, right? But for most gamblers, the reality is far from glamorous. With just 2% of bettors winning, the odds are against them and they end up with nothing to show for it. Just a relentless hope that the next bet will be the one. In the quest for the one bet to rule them all, their life often spirals out of control. For some, what started as entertainment turns into a habit that they can't shake off, even when they realize the damage it's causing. Families are torn apart, debts pile up, and some are driven to crime and severe mental health issues. The tragic end for some is suicide. Yes, it's happening across Africa and beyond.
There seems to be a trend of emerging addiction.
The loss of everything for me to come to a point where I feel so hopeless that the only thing I could do is just to stop and put every last bit of energy that I have in me into stopping. When I gamble, I don't think about my family.
There's a high risk of suicide when somebody does have this addiction. So that's something that you really need to be aware of.
But if they hear these stories, why can't they just stop?
Addiction is not simply exposure to a substance. Addiction is a pattern of behavior, and certain patterns of experience are inherently addictive. And gambling is a good example of this, because what gambling does is it gives you intermittent reinforcement. And so, every unpredictable amount of times you win. And this is a puzzle to our pattern-seeking brains. And we keep thinking we're going to find a pattern and it's going to sort out and we're going to understand it and we're going to get rich.
I am not a psychologist, but experts in addiction science tell us that gambling addiction rewires the brain.
Once you become addicted, it's very, very hard to stop because you've changed your brain. Addiction is a brain that has changed to become entrained to the desires of the gambling.
It's not about the money anymore. It's about the thrill and the dopamine rush. Winning or losing does not matter. It's the betting experience that counts. And that's why willpower alone often isn't enough to quit. Let's say you are strong-willed and you gamble for fun and think you are in control. Do you know when to stop? The line between control and addiction is thin. And it's not just adults. Kids are increasingly exposed to gambling thanks to abundant ads and easy online access. It's a ticking time bomb. So, what can we do? How about starting with banning gambling ads everywhere, especially because of minors? By everywhere, I mean every damn place. Ignorance can be bliss, Stronger laws and regulations are essential and we must enforce them. Governments have a role, but so do we. Hold companies accountable, challenge irresponsible behavior, and spread awareness within your space. Support groups and community organizations can help addicts reclaim their life. Total ban might seem extreme, but reducing the awareness and accessibility of it, especially online sports betting, could make a huge difference. Some argue that banning gambling could even boost the economy by redirecting funds to more productive uses. It's a complex issue. On one hand, jobs and government revenue. On the other hand, social disintegration. It's a case of the devil and the deep blue sea. What am I saying exactly? There was time gambling was sternly frowned upon in our society. Now it's part of the fabric of our society, often to our detriment. What often started out as quest for quick riches eventually leaves a trail of crime and broken lives. Don't blame the government for everything. Take control of your life. The hope you place in a big gambling win, channel that into your goals. It most likely won't be easy, but life is in stages. Embrace them. With hard work and smart choices, progress is inevitable. No, I am not letting the government off the hook. They must regulate businesses ethically and protect citizens. Gambling is a growing threat, and it falls within their jurisdiction to act. Support those in need. Make it your business to hold business accountable, especially when kids are in harm's way. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment and let's have a conversation. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. And it also helps with letting YouTube know that it needs to suggest this video to more people who may need to see this. Before I see you next time, you may want to see this video on how pastors in Africa are cashing out from the business of selling hope, same way these betting companies do. Cheers, guys.